What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and outside the pod. I know it's been a minute. Y'all know every time I come back from a hiatus, I give y'all a whole spiel as to how I'm going to be consistent and all of this. But scratch all of that. Whenever I drop, I drop. I have been keeping tabs on the Joe Budden podcast. I've been keeping tabs on the Stop. I've been keeping tabs on the Menace Material or Menace Society or whatever they call themselves and that beef that they have going on. But y'all know I do the best when I speak on two things. When I observe something and then it happens later on down the line. So basically, in essence, a callback. You have to come back to my videos like, damn, this nigga said it. Or when it comes to that business. And I want to speak on the business aspect of it today or right now. Excuse me. Too many things are happening that I haven't made a video on that I kind of wanted to put all into one video and speak on because it's getting a little too obvious now. But I haven't made a video on it, so here you go. Joe Budden has been making sure to put it in the public sphere that his co-hosts or his quote-unquote employees are receiving a proper compensation. Every time they have something fruitful or eventful or something that they'd have to spend a couple of dollars on in their lifetime, Joe makes sure to accentuate that and to emphasize that and to get them to tell those stories in the public sphere so we know that he's lacing their pockets. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't have Patreon anymore. It's been about 2 months, and this is what has eluded me to believe that there's financial issues or discrepancies going on at the JBP currently. I've had Patreon for a year at this point, consistent. I started off at the $25 tier. Everybody was saying they were getting everything on the $10 tier, so I downgraded to the $10 tier, and I've had that tier for about 8 months. Last month, on the $10 tier, if you read the actual description of the friend of the show and the part of the show or whatever the tiers are on the Joe Budden Patreon, you'll see that the $10 tier is supposed to receive 2 extra episodes a month. But for the past 8 months, he's been giving us 2 episodes every week. When I started realizing there's financials going or discrepancies going on is when he actually followed the tier and what it was written up as, and we started getting 2 pods a month on the $10 tier as opposed to 8 a month, because that's in essence what we were getting every week. We were getting 2 pods extra Mondays and Fridays. Once he switched that up, it let me know something was going on. Either he's trying to cut down so he can get more money, and I initially thought he was being greedy, or we're nipping this in the bud because I'm spending too much and I don't want to say in expenses. I'm spending too much and not receiving as much as I should be receiving because I'm letting these niggas get it off however they want to get it off. I don't think he's taking the greedy route. I think there's something going on in the business. And the only reason I'm saying this, and I'm kind of steadfast in this now, is because where the fuck is Imani at? And I don't have the Patreon episodes anymore, so he could be on the Patreon episodes. But if I'm not mistaken, Imani was on like 3 months worth of the main pod Patreon episodes. I mean, not Patreon, but the JBP episodes. Once he started speaking on he's going to have to go to dinner with Joe, I knew something was going wrong. And when it comes to the contract negotiations that Joe's currently having with his co-host, it's different than what it is with an Imani. Because I said from the jump street, Joe was looking out for Imani. And in essence, he has this nigga on a stipend. Imani got with his bitch, or his girlfriend. I apologize for calling her a bitch, but Imani got with his girlfriend. Joe noticed and called it out that now this nigga is actually concerned about the finances and if he's going to get an actual paycheck and have an actual income from this job. Because when Imani and his lady had the conversation about, okay, what is it that you do? And he says that I kind of do my thing on the JBP. Okay, baby, well, how much are you getting for pay from the JBP? Imani couldn't give her a legitimate answer because Imani's just getting here you go for this and here you go for that. He's pretty much getting paid based off of his appearances and because Joe's his nigga. And I feel that Joe has always looked out for Imani like this. But anyway, I'm getting too ahead of myself. Joe heard that Imani was trying to pretty much negotiate, quote unquote, and strong arm him into a negotiation and getting him on the podcast. And Joe has it in his head that, nigga, you're not even officially a member of the podcast to be trying to take me to dinner yet. And you're my boy, so I'm finna look out for you. But we're not signing any contracts yet. You're still on an interim basis. You're still on a trial run, nigga. But because it's happening with all his other co-hosts, it made me think to the things that Joe says. Joe says things, and normally you have to go back and think about what it is that he said. But I've been thinking about it because I thought it was pertaining to me when he said it. Whenever he gave Danny a shout out, Menace Material a shout out, me a shout out, Chiggs a shout out, and a couple of other content creators. He gave us a year, in essence, to continue doing what it is that we do surrounding the JBP, and then it was going to be different. I thought he was talking to us and how he was going to not allow us to speak on him without copyrighting our shit and making it extremely hard. But then he went and jumped on Twitter Spaces, and he pretty much talks to these niggas every day. And I'm sure I could have gone in that sphere, but I don't have time to just be sitting down talking to y'all niggas for hours upon hours on end. Like, this is how I know y'all niggas have to do content. I don't have to do this shit. But anyway, Joe hopped into Spaces with these niggas, and it got me thinking, like, so why did he give us a year? When did the contract renewals happen? It's been 3 years or 4 years at this point. I want to say it's been 3 years since Ish and Ice have been on the pod. If it's been 3 years, it makes more sense. But if it's been 4 years, it still could correlate the same. 3 years, I have you niggas on a 1 year deal because I don't know where the show's going at this point, and as long as I can have a show, then I can sign out to this year contract. If we exceed expectations, then we can talk about 2 years and so on and so forth. They exceeded expectations after the first year, even though it was rocky, it was up and down, but they still exceeded expectations because he didn't know if he would make it through that transition, and he did. So he signed him to an actual contract because he pulled this from Spotify. He had a 2 year deal at Spotify. So he signed Ish and Ice to a 2 year deal. But little did they know, right after they signed their contracts, or Ice signed his shit immediately, but Ish took forever to sign his contract, which had wheels turning in Joe's head, which is why Flip and Melissa came on, because he didn't know what was going on with Ish, even if he signed the contract, because Joe says himself that he doesn't fulfill these contracts, so he didn't think that Ish was going to fulfill his contract, because he didn't know if him and Ish were still on good terms or not. He re-signs these niggas. He signs Flip and Mel for a year deal. They exceed expectations on the year deal, so y'all niggas can re-up as well. But December is going to end or be the end of the 2 year contract that Ish and Ice signed. And the person that I think is handling these contract negotiations the best, outmost best, is Ice. He has his lawyer in play, and he's watching all the stupid shit that's going on in the pod and outside of the pod. He's taking a mental Rolodex of it, and then he's going to hit Joe over the head when it comes to the re-ups. I don't miss episodes. Like, I've missed one episode this entire time that I've been here. I bring up topics. Not only do I write topics on the board with Melissa, I segue into topics. None of your other co-hosts do that. I'm holding down the ship. I've never gone against you, except when it comes to music topics, but when you and I debate on those music topics, it makes for some of our best content. Excuse me. You don't ever have to worry about me being a subordinate. You'll never have to worry about me speaking on contract negotiations or anything financially when it comes to this pod. Ice is smart, though. He's been hella observant, because every time Flip says something that he got this and he got that and you got bread here and you got bread there, Ice is like, no, I don't. And everybody knows that these niggas is getting well compensated on the show, but the reason Ice is saying I don't have any bread is because he knows Joe is listening. Once Ice concedes to saying that he has this and he has that, he won't be able to hit Joe over the head in these contract negotiations. Every time Ish goes on vacation, he just went to Monaco and didn't have a budget, according to him. So Joe's going to equate that to I'm paying you or I'm compensating you perfectly already. He's going to look at Flip and see what Flip did when he got suspended before he realized that he was receiving pay and how hard he started grinding. He's going to use that to his advantage in the contract negotiations. I don't need to up the pay for y'all niggas, because the pay I'm already giving y'all niggas is life-changing and altering money. And I have example A, B through Z. So Ice is smart by not speaking on any of this shit. Every time he gets something new, nigga, I worked hard for this, I saved for this type shit. I didn't just go spend my money just because y'all think I'm getting paid from Joe like that. And I need Joe to hear this, because I'm not trying to go into the contract negotiations and not be able to re-up. So all of these things come into play. And like I said, Ice is handling it the best. And I'm sorry for sweating. If I turn my AC up, though, it'd be too loud and it's just interfere with the audio quality of the video, so y'all just gonna have to see me sweat. But all of this is happening in real time. The person that I haven't said a word about is Melissa. Unfortunately, I think shit's gonna hit the fans real quick for Melissa, and not in the way that y'all think that I'm speaking on. I think Melissa's building up the case. I'm just gonna say it right now. And Joe is walking straight into this trap. Everybody on the outside keeps speaking on your infatuation with Melissa because you show it more and more and more and more every episode. I thought it was bad when Flip did it, but you have been doing it the entire duration that Flip was doing it, and Flip stopped because Melissa put her foot down to that nigga. Unfortunately, she can't put her foot down to you because you're putting money in her pockets. You're lacing her up. So, and that's if she got shut the fuck up. But this is the type of case that you see building over time. And unfortunately, when you think of the Olivias and the people that had said shit in the past about you, I'm not talking about domestic violence or anything like that, but as far as sexually harassing them and shit like that, I can see it, nigga, because I see it on full display when it comes to Melissa. I thought Flip was bad, nigga. Everything pertaining to sex, you look towards Melissa, or you bring or include Melissa in it. Everything. And then, I don't know. It's just the way you talk about her and the way you talk to her. It's not like a friend to another friend, or even an admirer of sorts to whoever it is that they're admiring. Like, this shit is borderline creepy, yo. So Melissa, unfortunately, in my perspective and in my mind, she's gonna take it to the legal system. Y'all always speak about her proficiency in knowing the justice system and the entertainment system. That should scare y'all because the two correlate. And unfortunately, you're building up a case, nigga. And if you don't quit your antics, nigga, it's gonna be seen as such. And then all she has to do is go pull up the video footage on your platform. Like, here's exhibit A, B, C, D. I didn't even feel comfortable. You can see it in my face. You can see it in my body language. You can see it in my reactions. I'm not laughing at these jokes that he are saying as jokes. Like, it's getting real nasty. And I'm not even the type to try to make accusations like this. This is from my perspective, though. And the fact that I feel the need to say it lets me know how bad it's getting on Joe's end. But if everybody's contract is ending in the month of December or at the end of this year, it's just going to get real frisky. And the fact that Flip keeps bringing up these prize picks. Now, I agree. You weren't part of the negotiations of the prize picks ads, so that doesn't mean I have to split the pie evenly with the prize picks ads. But at the same time, you didn't have no prize picks ads before I got here, if I'm Flip, and this is his perspective. You didn't have no prize picks advertisements before I got here, my nigga. And now all of a sudden, you're spending even more money because of the prize picks ads. And you're just expecting me and all of my co-hosts to not say anything. But because these niggas are quote unquote your friends, they're too afraid to tell you any of these things. I have an issue with it. So I don't know how that's supposed to go in business, because I have a landscaping company and it's a very successful landscaping company. If my brother notices that I'm changing the prices on the yards as we're going forward, do I have to change the price in his pay to reflect that? Like, it's the same type of deal to me, so I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye on this, and a lot of the reasons that Joe keeps bringing up on how people are speaking and how often they're speaking and the lack thereof and the fact that they're not compelling, it's starting to reminisce of Rory and Mal right before they left and the lack of things that Joe felt that they did as well. So let's just make sure we're paying attention to this, and if you stuck around to the end of the video, I appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Mainly comments. That's the thing that I appreciate the most, the engagement. But until next time, y'all be safe. Peace.